Welcome back to another Explainer. Today, we're taking a fascinating look at the hidden circulatory system of your house, the plumbing. I want you to think of your home's pipes exactly like the veins and arteries in your own body. I mean, you wouldn't wait for a massive catastrophic blockage to suddenly start caring about your cardiovascular health, right? You want to establish a preventative baseline of care rather than, just relying on panic-driven emergency surgery. And yet, when it comes to our homes, so many of us completely ignore the system until we're literally standing in 2 inches of murky water. Well, today, we're changing that. We're drawing on some fantastic source material to build a customized, proactive maintenance schedule based exactly on your home's unique profile. Okay, let's dive into this agenda and build your custom diagnostic checklist. We're going to cover why maintenance matters, the home age timeline, factoring in your home type, when you need to shorten those schedules, and finally, daily prevention best practices. So, starting with Section 1, why maintenance matters, and rethinking drain health. Before we look at the data, I want you to think about your past plumbing disasters. We've all been there, right? The sink that takes 10 minutes to drain, or worse, the sudden shower backup. It's incredibly stressful. To fix this, we need to fundamentally shift our mindset regarding drain health, moving away from reactive crisis management and toward proactive system care. Just look at this quote from our source material. Regular drain cleaning isn't about never letting anything go wrong. It's about preventing buildup before it turns into slow drains, recurring clogs, and costly sewer backups. I absolutely love this because it completely dismantles the myth of crisis management. We aren't aiming for plumbing perfection here. We're just aiming to establish a healthy baseline to avoid those incredibly costly, highly stressful disasters. It's really all about catching the buildup before the blockage catches you off guard. Let's move to Section 2 and see how this builds. The home age timeline, your plumbing's lifespan. Age is the very first diagnostic factor we absolutely have to consider. As I walk through this roadmap of plumbing degradation, try to mentally place your own property on this timeline. We start with newer homes, 0 to 5 years old, where things are generally calm and clear. Then we move into young homes, 6 to 15 years old. This is where we start to see the first real signs of wear. As we cross into older homes, 16 to 30 years, the urgency picks up a bit. Things are shifting, settling, wearing out. And finally, we reach the 30-plus category, very old homes. This is where the structural integrity of the system itself requires serious, regular attention and, quite frankly, a completely different level of vigilance. Let's break those first 2 stages down. With pristine, newer homes, you've got cleaner lines. They just don't have decades of accumulated sludge yet. So the goal here is really just routine prevention. You might do an annual professional inspection just to establish a baseline, especially if you have long drain runs. But look at the young homes, 6 to 15 years old. This is where buildup really starts to show its face. We're talking about fats, oils, and grease, often called fog, solidifying in the kitchen, plus hair and soap scum combining in the bathroom. For these homes, you've got to shift to targeted cleaning of those specific, heavily used branch lines roughly every 1 to 2 years. Now, what's really interesting about this is how the strategy completely changes as the house ages up. For older homes in the 16 to 30-year range, you're no longer just looking at a slow kitchen sink. You have to prioritize mainline risk. Ground shifting, accumulated sediment, aging seals, it all means you need a yearly or biennial plan focusing on the main trunk line. And for very old homes, 30 years and beyond, you have to treat it like an entire interconnected system. You're dealing with potential tree roots, corrosion, material deterioration. Basically, a single slow drain here might just be a symptom of a massive mainline bottleneck. You need a structural routine of professional cleaning or camera inspections every 1 to 2 years. And hey, if you ever have a serious backup, get an immediate inspection. Seriously, do not wait for the next failure. All right, Section 3, factoring in home type, how structure alters risk. Age is only half of the diagnostic puzzle, though. We also have to examine how the physical structure alters your prescription, because structure dictates risk. For single-family homes, your risk is concentrated heavily in your kitchen and bathroom drains, and your main line takes the total household load. Simple enough. But look at multifamily units, like duplexes. Now you have shared plumbing loads. One unit might seem totally fine, but problems can originate upstream from a neighbor, so coordinated maintenance is required here. And then we have townhomes and older condos. Shared walls and shared lines mean a problem in your sink might not actually start in your unit. For these structures, camera inspections aren't just a luxury, they are absolutely crucial necessities to locate the true source of the problem. So the crucial point is this: environmental factors, specifically mature trees, are major outliers in our diagnostic process. If your home has a large yard with big, beautiful, mature trees, well, your plumbing schedule just got thrown out the window. Tree roots are relentless. They are a massive driver of early and frequent cleaning needs. If you have confirmed root intrusion, you just can't rely on generic repeating quick fixes anymore. You have to shift entirely to targeted root mitigation and regular camera inspections. Moving on to Section 4. When to shorten schedules. Reading the symptoms. Even with the perfect schedule based on your home's age and type, things can go wrong. These are the red flag symptoms that mean it's time to accelerate your timeline. If you see slow drains that are gradually worsening across multiple fixtures, that's not a localized clog. That's a mainline issue. If you have recurring clogs just months after a cleaning, your schedule is way too loose. Think about the last time you heard strange gurgling sounds coming from your sink or tub when you flushed a toilet. Actually, that means air is trapped because a blockage is actively forming. And finally, backups after heavy usage. We all know the absolute undeniable horror of having overnight guests or throwing a big holiday party, only to have the system entirely fail the next morning under the extra stress. Yeah, no thanks. If any of these happen, your standard timeline is officially out the window. Call a professional. Which brings us to Section 5. Daily Prevention Best Practices, Your Home Defense. And this brilliantly illustrates how we can empower ourselves. Diagnostics and professional schedules are vital, sure, but let's talk about the frontline daily habits that delay the need for those professional calls in the first place. Step 1. Simply run water for a few seconds after using the garbage disposal to flush the debris all the way out. Step 2. Absolutely stop pouring grease down your kitchen drains. It solidifies into that FOG we talked about earlier. Step 3. Buy a cheap shower hair catcher. Honestly, it will save you hundreds of dollars in the long run. Step 4. Ban all wipes labeled flushable. Seriously, it's one of the most highly deceptive and destructive marketing terms out there. They do not break down like toilet paper, and they will wreak havoc on your lines. And Step 5, if you live in a hard water area, scale buildup will drastically accelerate clogs, so implement some simple water management or softening practices. To wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with the ultimate diagnostic question to evaluate your own home's circulatory system right now. Ask yourself, what is your plumbing's age and material? And if you've had issues, where does the problem show up first? Is it isolated to a kitchen sink, or is it system-wide? Answering this question takes you from a generic guess to a highly accurate, tailored maintenance plan. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.